This is Robert with Hillbilly Rocks and More. This week I'm going to tumble some orange calcite. There's approximately 9 pounds of it that I have left. Orange calcite's a soft rock. This stuff here has a lot of mica mixed in it. It's kind of unusual for calcite. But I'm going to do this with 6090 silicon carbide for grit, and we should be able to check this stuff in about 5 days. As I said, calcite is a softer rock, so we'll give it a look at it in 5 days, see how it goes. Now there is 4 scoops of silicon carbide in each one. Again, 6090 grit. That's more than enough as far as coarse goes for, or extra coarse goes for calcite. You don't need to go any coarser than that. Okay, this is the orange calcite after 5 days in the coarse 6090 grit. Everything's nicely rounded up. Still got a rough texture to it, but that'll move on to the 120-220 silicon carbide, and I'll probably leave it in there for at least 3 days to help smooth everything out, and we'll check it once we get to that point, see how it looks. As you can see, overnight it has thickened up really bad. That's what I was talking about with the orange calcite, that as it breaks down it tends to thicken up your slurry really bad. So I'll have to add a bunch of water to this, get it all thinned out, and we'll get it restarted. Okay, the orange calcite, I spent a day in the 120-220 silicon carbide grit. Now getting ready to put it into 500 aluminum oxide grit. A word here real quick about the orange calcite. It does have a tendency when you're tumbling it, it will thicken up the slurry really bad. So you got to keep adding water to it to keep it thin. So you got to constantly be checking on it. And beyond that, once you start tumbling in a vibe tumbler like this, I limit it to 24 hours at each grit. I keep checking it and see if I need to redo the grit for another day. But let's start on the 500 aluminum oxide. Okay, we're done with the orange calcite with the 500 AO. I've cleaned it and looked it over. It's smooth enough to continue on to the next level, which would be 1000 AO. I've got 2 scoops of that in there, 2 tablespoons, and 3 tablespoons of sugar to help provide a little bit of cushion. We'll get that going here and take a look, see how it's going. Now this here has run for about a minute, 2 minutes. As you can see, the gray showing up already from the 1000 AO grit. I only put in 2 scoops instead of my normal 3. I want to probably run this for maybe 48 hours, so I figured I'd go with 2 scoops to help keep it from thickening up quite so fast. Okay, now progressing on to the polish stage. I only let these run in 1000 grit for 1000 grit AO aluminum oxide grit for 36 hours. They're starting to get a little on the small side, so progressing on now to the dry tumble. As you can see, this is corncob media with 3 tablespoons of aluminum oxide polish in there, and we're going to throw in well, we'll probably go a third of these rocks in each one of these 2 tumblers here, and call it good at that. Don't want them beating up on each other too much when they're doing the polish, and they'll be in there for up to a week. So let's get some rocks in there. Okay, I've put in the yellow calcite that I had thrown in with the other stuff when I was tumbling it into this tumbler here, And over here, got the orange calcite. And I got that much left here. Like I said, I'm doing about a third in each one. Don't want to get too much going in there. We'll get them started up here and see how they're looking. Oh, now my smaller tumbler here is getting kind of worn out, so it does have a little bit of a problem getting it going. I'm actually going to have to put the lid on it, turn it upside down, and start it upside down. Well, it looks like the motor on the Ultravibe 10 here, the reloading tumbler, just gave up the ghost. She ain't starting up this time. So down to one here. So that'll prolong now the polish time on this stuff to maybe possibly a couple weeks. We'll just have to see how quick it takes to polish. So we'll get this one going. And this one here is nothing but the yellow calcite. Bigger ones there, they're having a little bit harder time tumbling and that stuff. So might have to let them go longer. We'll just check them in a few days, see what happens. Okay, today we are finishing up our calcite polish. I had orange calcite that was being polished, threw in some yellow, which is right here in the front. This was done with a dry polish, corncob media, and regular rock polish. Gives a nice shine. Not as perfect as a wet polish. Here's some of the orange calcite. As you can see, it's quite a bit different than the yellow calcite. Something different. Lots of variation to it. Interesting stuff. Pretty soft, so you got to watch how you tumble it. Here's a prime example of it. This stuff was tumbled for 5 days. This stuff, I had COVID at the time, and it stayed in for over 7. And as you can see, it definitely took its toll on it. Roughened off all the edges. Gave a nice polish in the center areas, right where the flats were, but ruined the batch by being in there too long. 5 days is about its maximum for this orange calcite stuff. So if you're going to try this stuff and use a dry polish method, which is what you'll have to do, you're going to want to limit it to about 5 days, and what you get is what you get. So hopefully this gives you a little information for if you're going to try calcite. All calcite will be the same, whether it's yellow, blue, doesn't matter. You're going to want to limit it to a short tumble, otherwise you'll grind it all away. And when it comes to polish, you do have to use a dry method, and it's not as good as the wet method. Leaves a little bit of a gritty surface to it. But if you push it too long and try to get rid of that, you could end up with more of this. So, it does make some interesting looking rock though. So, hope this video helps you out. Image quality isn't as good as I like. I'm just learning to use this camera, so hopefully it works out. Have a good day.